Okay, welcome to my Studebaker truck build. I think this is number 9 in my little series of videos. Okay, what I'm doing today, or what I'm trying to do today, is I'm attempting to channel the cabin down over the chassis. As you remember in some of the last videos I did, I dropped all the front guards and the grille shroud down by 65mm, and I'll try not to repeat that measurement too many times today. I think I overkilled it a bit last time, but anyway. In some of the other videos you would have seen that I'd already removed this piece of wood out of here long time ago, many years ago, and I had a bar just sort of temporarily tacked in there which wasn't long enough, and it ended up breaking here. So yesterday I took that other piece of bar out and found a bit of a piece of bar a bit longer, and I've just tacked that in now, just to hold the two sections of cabin together, because the cowl is completely separate to the cabin. This piece of wood here is all part of the cabin, but then that, hopefully it's not too dark, through the bracing of the cowl, that then screws into this wood holding the cowl to the doorpost, which is part of the cabin. So I can actually remove this cowl by taking those screws out, and that will be a separate piece, and the cabin will remain standing there. But due to there not being any support between these 2 points, this whole windscreen post door pillar would just sag down here, and it ended up bending. Tongue-tied today. It'd end up bending the roof, so I'm trying to put some supports in here before I go cutting anything. Now on the other side I've still got the wood there. I've just started grinding the heads off the bolts, because there's no way that I'll be able to get them undone. And I couldn't get into this back one here, so I had to come up from underneath and take the head off it. As you can see, the garage is full of smoke because I've bit into the wood with the grinder blade and smoke things up. So what I'll do is sit that there and take my little prop out. I always forget to bring the camera out before I start stuff, so I prop this up just to show you what I've done. So I've ground out that, and this bolt from underneath, so this whole section should now drop out. All close to it. The only thing I'm looking at saving on this is a panel here on the outside. I'll need to build a new one, but I need to keep this as a template. I shouldn't end up bending it up at all, getting this off. I've still got to be careful. There we go. Thanks to rotted wood, that came out pretty easy. As you can see, that's got a bit of sheet metal on the outside of that, so I'll bend up a new one because it's all rusted through here, but you know, that's a good template. And before removing it from the door, then I'd made sure that the back of the cabin was pushed up as far to the front as it possibly could be, so that my opening was right. But I'll go and do a measurement on the other side as well, and then bring that measurement across here and measure and make sure that the openings are the same size before I weld this bar in. Okay, that's that outside sill panel from the right hand side. So you can see I had to grind out all the nails there. They were originally fastened to the timber. And that will go in there like that. Eventually. Now, it's out here a little bit. Probably looks worse on the camera than it is. But, yeah, this is just temporarily tacked in at the moment to hold the cabin rigid. So what I'll do is, although I need to bring the well, I don't actually know whether I need to bring this back. I've got to plumb everything up, so I need to get this cabin sitting flat on the concrete floor here, and then square everything up when I start steeling the cabin out. So at the moment I'm not really worried that the way I've welded this brace in, whether it's accurate or not, you know, it can be out by a couple of mil. It's just to hold it. But I'm trying to keep it the same anyway, regardless of it being out. And I've measured from here to here, the two metal points, and that's about 47.5 inches. It's the same on this side, it's 47.5 inches, so I'll stick with that for now. And then later on, I can, you know, once the cabin's on the floor and I work out the width of the doors and the door jambs and everything like that, it's just a matter of grinding off the tacks and just moving it in, and then just tacking it back in place, cutting the right length of metal tubing to go in there, and then you know, weld that in, and then remove the support bar. So I've got to make a start somewhere. So yeah, a couple of mils not really gonna phase me at this point in time. Okay, the bit of steel tubing I'm using, just a bit of scrap. This has been, I actually built a bench press out of this back in 1985 when I was still in high school. Used it for a number of years, and it's been sitting out in my backyard for about the last 15 years, and you know, it's still in good condition. A lot of paint went on that. I think that's why it's preserved itself so well. But anyway, get back onto this. Ground all the paint off, so I get it a nice surface to spot weld this in. You know, ground off there. On the old steel that's all rusted and pitted, it never ever looks as shiny and clean as something that's, you know, a little newer. It always looks black, but it is clean. So the next step will be to tack this in just here, a couple of tacks, and then I'll take my measurement from the back of here to the tip of here and get that at the same length as the other side, and then yeah, tack this in, and then that's the floor braced up. I'll probably run something across here as well, because I will eventually have to cut through this timber and through this main brace, and this main brace is what's holding everything together. I was gonna bridge something up, across and over, but to be honest, I don't really have anything. A nice piece of C-channel would have been ideal to go in there, 40mm C-channel. I don't have any. You know, I could cut up bits of that tubing over there that I've bought for the cabin, but everything's pretty much pre-cut, so I have to go out and buy more again. So I'm gonna find some more scrap, and I'm just gonna bridge across here for the time being, and then maybe put in a couple of diagonal braces to the corners. Or the other thing I could do is, these internal structures are steel as well, so I could weld something off here across to the other side. You'll have to excuse my sniffles. There's that much dust flying around in here. Yeah, so brace it across there. That keeps it closer to the back here when I cut this. Eventually I'll have to bridge the gap, but I just don't have any material at the moment, and it's a 4-day long weekend for Easter, so nothing's open. So yeah, what I do today is just going to be a temporary thing, and eventually I'll end up stepping this properly, so when I drop it down onto the chassis, it's got something to sit on. I have to go a little bit further than, damn that bar, I have to go a little bit wider than the actual width of the chassis as well, because I've got a gusset plate in here, so I'll have to take it out to about there. I guess in the old terms that's probably about 5 or 6 inches, or I don't know, about 150 mil or something like that. So it's a fair step. It'll come up and across and then down again, and then the cabin will sit on top of the chassis. Anyway, I'll make a start on it. Okay, before I go welding this, I just want to show you something, to show you how badly these were constructed in their time. You would think that they would have set the angle for this seat brace the same on both sides, but they didn't. As you can see, this tube is sitting, well, that's the width of my finger on that side, and it's obviously with the 2 fingers on this side, and that's hard up on the inside of this right angle brace. But if we go around this side, you'll see that that's hard up on the inside of this angle. But look how far out this sits. That's the angle of this has got to be different to that. So this tube needs to be sitting over here somewhere. The openings, the door opening is the same at the moment, so I've got to tweak this a little bit and work out why the cowl isn't sitting square to the cabin. So I'll take some measurements and continue from there. Okay, I never really worked out why the cowling was so far out. I took measurements, but everything seemed to be alright. I think it was just that this seat brace just wasn't built properly. So I just gave it a little bit of gentle persuasion, and I pushed the bar in and I clamped it up until it was same width, and I just tacked it in place. So that's pretty much holding all that in place now. On these old hand-built cabins, nothing was square, so it's up to me to make it square, and that's pretty good at the moment. This is how badly they put the cabins together back in the day. I've put a couple of marks there of where I need to cut this back section out, and as you can see, this bar here is sitting within that cut area. On this side I've done the same, I've marked it out, so we got our 150 millimeter, but this support bar, bracing bar, is on the outside of the cut. On the other side, this is sitting a lot higher, and on more of an acute angle, so sort of wherever they wanted to put it in, they put it in. Turns out I'm going to have some of this brace still intact, so I'm not going to lose all the structural integrity at the back. I've measured up from the chassis rail up to the bottom of this right angle, and that's 40 mil. The right angle's about 5 millimeters. That's given me 45, and then I've measured up 20 from there. So yeah, if I cut through there, up and across, it's going to leave me with something there to hold everything in place. Now that's 5 mil. That's pretty thick. That's, you know, just under 1/4 of an inch, and that'll be enough to hold things in place. I've still got this cross brace here, which is ideal. It's in the perfect place. This one, I'm going to grind that off, and I'm going to weld that in the lower position and stretch that over to here, so that will give that section there some support when I cut this out. As you can see, I've now moved that down, taken it off this higher point and this lower point, and just shifted it across. So I'll weld that in. If you can still see it, there's my cut mark. So this bar is now on the outside of my cut mark, and that will give some support to this this bottom angle.